Cotignac, in the heart of Provence, often awarded the title of the most beautiful village in France. Today it smoulders, covered in ash from wildfires that ripped through this community, devastating residents of this spectacular cliffside medieval village. Around 60 houses have been destroyed so far, with horses and other domestic animals killed in their homes, stables and fields. Locals broke down in tears after losing everything.
Le feu s'est déclaré à Cayade et c'est mon ex-belle-mère en fait qui s'est retrouvée coincée dans les flammes. Elle est retournée chez elle pour aller sauver ses chats, les mettre en sécurité et en fait elle s'est retrouvée prise par les flammes en sortant. Et sa sœur a été la récupérer en voiture, elles ont voulu partir toutes les deux et au final elles se sont retrouvées coincées et prise de panique, elle est sortie de la voiture. Elle s'est réfugiée dans la piscine d'un de ses voisins.
When I went to work this morning, my colleague told me that his parents completely lost their house because of the fire last night in Cotignac, so they had to leave.
With the fire threatening the centuries-old monastery overlooking the village, the priests and nuns took refuge in the residents' homes. Cotignac has around 2,500 residents, and the population rises to almost 10,000 in the summer tourism season. A community now rallying together in the aftermath of the worst fire they've ever seen. Many of the local men volunteering to help the pompiers where they can.
I, in fact, was welcomed to someone else's house in Sarrião, a friend of a friend. I showed up with my cat and my best friend and his baby, and they took us on like family. So we're lucky to have a small, tight-knit community, and I'm thankful for that. That's Cotignac.
Water planes continue to fly overhead as fires outside the villages are still raging on.
The storm that has been battering Chile for over a week has left a trail of devastation in its wake. Agricultural crops have been destroyed, roads have been swept away by floodwaters, and the torrential rain has claimed the lives of at least 13 people. A further 60,000 are reported to be cut off. The storm has hit the north of the country in the normally arid regions of Coquimbo and Atacama. According to the government, around 2,800 homes have been destroyed by the rain, river flooding and mudslides. The Minister of the Interior has announced that the rains are expected to ease. However, he stresses that the danger remains high due to swollen riverbeds and ravines. On Monday, the president declared a state of emergency in the affected areas. This decision authorizes the deployment of the army, the restriction of movement, and the faster delivery of humanitarian aid.
I was diagnosed with exercise-induced asthma, of which pollution is one of my triggers, when I was 14 as a runner and someone who really believes in the benefits of physical activity. I don't want to be encouraging people to get out if the air that they're breathing isn't clean and healthy and comes with its own negative side effects.
It's not just for respiratory diseases lung related. The particles we are breathing, they go into our bloodstream, and from there they can reach any organ. And our brain is the one that now we are developing more and more knowledge about how air pollution is affecting our brain, declining cognitive capacity, and even involve as well on neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson, Alzheimer, or dementia. So I think it's very important to be aware of that, because the measures we can take will clean the air, but it will clean as well the hospital admissions and the number of deaths we have every year due to air pollution.
by 2023, we were estimated to be one of the cities with the most deaths attributable to the air pollution, actions being taken, and new zones which limits specific vehicles and which limits heating of your home with burning were introduced. And the results are already present. We have reduced the air pollution in Bulgaria, of course not by the rate that we wish, and future work is needed, but significant enough to say that those measures working.
Unfortunately, it's only 3 months per year, and definitely it should be the whole year around, because the pollution by traffic is every month, and we see very little seasonality. So it doesn't matter whether it's winter or summer, the pollution by cars is very, very strong.
If people knew that this is not just an environmental issue, it's not just an economic issue, it's much more than that. It's a huge public health challenge that we need to face. Otherwise, the consequences are not only the almost 8 million deaths we have every year, but it's the number of diseases that air pollution is causing, the cost that this represents for the health system, and the fact that we are losing a lot of opportunities to create a healthy development.
This year, it did rain a lot during the winter, especially in the western parts. And this led to a sort of good greening towards right after the rains. But then what is sort of interesting here is that the spring has been anomalously dry as well as hot. And this sort of led to widespread drying of the vegetation in these parts, and this is why you see a lot of wildfires in these parts, and that is where the impacts of the droughts come from on this part of the continent. So as we know, water is important for agriculture, and that means that food security is one of the major factors that is going to, or major sectors that will be impacted by droughts. So often in the aftermath of a drought, we see that often essential grain prices go up.
Well, it's completely self-dependent. You don't need any electricity there, so if there's, for example, in such a remote area that there isn't any electrical grid, you don't need it. You've got solar panels. You can just stand still if you want to get more solar area, push out these extra solar panels, and then you're just getting the extra energy to provide it, and then you can still drive away, especially in areas where, for example, fossil fuels might be a problem with their availability. We've got an X-ray over there so that we can scan, for example, with patients of tuberculosis, one of the leading diseases in Africa. We've got an ultrasound so that you can make ultrasounds of pregnant women, for example. An AED, so if you, for example, something happens to you, you need to get reanimated, then of course that can also happen. And just a general EHBO kit.
It is a country with a lot of grid, all to the problems that I mentioned in the beginning. Take for example the unreliable energy grids.
Can really contribute to the issue that many African countries have, is that the distance between very remote villages and healthcare facilities is really big. There's little public transportation, fuel is very expensive, electricity networks are unreliable. So a really cool innovation like the Stella Juva can help us solve such big challenges in healthcare delivery.